Landscape photography is often associated with images of the great outdoors, but notice in this Walker Evans photograph how he creates a landscape of an interior space. He uses the open doorways to lead us through the image and give us the sense of actually walking through this house. When photographing large landscapes, you can create a sense of space by using scale. Carlton E. Watkins places a man in the photograph leaning up against the tree to express the hugeness of Yosemite Valley. Ansel Adams also photographed Yosemite. He uses light, shadow, and atmospheric conditions to describe what it's like to be in this famous national park. Atmosphere can be used to create a sense of drama. You can almost feel what it's like to stand in this valley surrounded by snow and the clouds moving through after a storm. The editing choices you make with your photographs can change the way we relate to the landscape you photograph. Notice how in the woods it looks as if it's nighttime, but we can tell by the light shining off of the trees and how bright they are that there is daylight here too. This is emphasized through the editing Ansel Adams uses when he created this photograph. Win Bullock is another photographer that uses editing to emphasize the most important elements in his photographs. This photograph is taken in bright sunlight, but he darkens the surroundings so that it almost looks as if it's illuminated by the moon, making this line of water that goes out to the ocean the most prominent element in the photograph. We see atmospheric elements at play again here in this photograph by Win Bullock, and he is again using editing to darken and increase contrast in the most important areas so that this tree is highlighted against the fog surrounding the sun and the landscape. Typically, landscape photographs show us a large expanse of space, but in this photograph by Win Bullock, we see a close-up of a tide pool, and we see a smaller landscape within a larger whole. If you get in close and use close-up abstraction, you can find whole new worlds within a larger scene. We see the use of close-up again in these photographs by Jerry Nevins, a Connecticut photographer. He is using the texture and details of parts of the landscape to talk about a larger expanse of space and the intricacies that could be found within that space. We have primarily been looking at photographers working in the western portion of the United States, but here in the eastern portion of the US, we can find plenty of landscapes to photograph. It is all about what you relate to in your space. Think about the areas that are important to you and what you would like your viewer to understand about them. What are the details that are most important, and how can you convey what it is like to be there within that space photographically?